Hi everybody and welcome to your weekly horoscope for Monday the 6th of January 2020, going through until Sunday the 12th of January 2020. It's a pleasure to be with you today as always. I'm really excited that we're in 2020. This year just feels so optimistic and there's so much potential for anything to happen. I'm just really excited about 2020. 2019 wasn't bad, but there's something happening here on the 10th, which I'll talk to you about. It's an eclipse. I've made a separate video on it, but it really creates a lot of power, and I think that's why there's this sense of enthusiasm and renewal. These horoscopes are based on UK time. They're for everyone who watches, for all signs of the zodiac. What I do is I look at what the planets are doing, what energy they're creating amongst themselves, and how that creates us or affects us down here on planet Earth. So I'm going to give you a day-by-day rundown of what is happening this week. So first of all, Monday the 6th of January, we have the moon in Taurus. The moon in Taurus allows you to really enjoy the sensual aspects of life, to look at security and money. You're likely to be quite stubborn and sure of yourself. You feel strong and you're able to stand your ground. That forms a harmonious relationship with Pluto and Saturn. Both of them are outer planets, and Pluto is about transformation and change. Saturn is about creating a solid foundation. And they're both sitting in Capricorn and forming a trine to this Taurus moon. So they're all in earth signs, which is all about being grounded and stable and making sure that you know where the next check is coming from, and that there's food on the table, and that the schedule is organized, all of those things. Pluto and Saturn square Venus in Aquarius, and Venus in Aquarius is all about, I just want to be of service to humanity, I just want to love. And they're kind of, the outer planets are kind of pushing Venus aside a little bit today, because they want you to start this week with a sense of groundedness, and you do start this week with a great sense of, I am here, I'm actually able to do something, which is really interesting because I've been struggling to do the monthlies for January for ages now. I usually do them like at the end of the month or even a week before, and the time just hasn't felt right to do them just yet, and I think it's because of this energy that's coming up. So you feel grounded and able to get things done here on Monday the 6th. You're able to make giant leaps in the area of work today, especially if it involves helping other people. That's the way to combine Pluto and Saturn and Venus and make them work together rather than putting them at odds with one another. And you can also make huge progress in the area of love. So if you're single, finding a partner. If you're in a relationship, improving that. It's about being selfless in a way and thinking about how can I create something long-term that is grounded, that's secure, and that's going to benefit me in future and others. On Tuesday the 7th, we have the moon going into Gemini at 2:12 a.m. So immediately you feel much more flexible, curious, inquisitive. You want to know what's happening. You're willing to walk through different doorways and try different things, and to be flexible in areas where you haven't been able to be flexible before. So you're able to see things now in a different way, and you're teachable and open. The moon sextiles Chiron and Aries, so don't be too open because you may get some information that hurts you. It's great to learn I love learning. I love learning in all forms and shapes and sizes, but sometimes you learn and you consume media and there's something in there which is really upsetting, and once it's been consumed, you can't unconsume it. There was a silly little show years ago called Medium, and I just watched it like in the background, like while I was doing other things, and one day they put this horrible scene of animal cruelty in there. I was like watching a family show, you know, and I didn't think it, and that, I watched that and it stuck with me for years and years and years. So yes, we do want to learn more, we do want to find out what's going on in life, But if you do that, and if you go on an adventure, and if you ask questions, be ready and prepared that some of the answers may not be the ones you like or you want. The Sun is in Capricorn, so your identity says work hard and you'll do well. It sextiles Neptune and Pisces, so make your hopes and dreams a reality. If you put the legwork in, you can manifest your life the way you want it to be. Mars is in Sagittarius, very happy in a fire sign. Mars is saying, go run, explore. And it quincunxes, so it forms a harmonious relationship with Uranus, the planet of chaos, and the unexpected and the miraculous in Taurus, where the moon was a day ago. So on Tuesday, you may hear some news that you don't want to hear. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad news, but someone may say something negative to you to build themselves up, or someone may just let off some steam on you because it's a day where people are very likely to take their frustrations out on other people. The ego is really threatened today on Tuesday the 7th. So it's either fight or flight or freeze. So that reaction contains a lot of power, and if you use it properly, rather than fight or flight, if you use the power to connect with the higher realms through meditation or walking in nature or prayer or whatever it is you do to connect with a higher power of your understanding, you can really learn and expand and grow spiritually. So Tuesday is a wonderful time to have a personal reading or to explore the world in a physical sense if you have the chance. Because people like me, psychics, astrologers, intuitive astrologers, mediums, with Neptune there and the Sun forming this harmonious sextile, the Sun and Neptune sextiling each other makes it very easy to pull the veil aside. So if you're someone who needs guidance, or you don't know what work to do, or you don't know what direction to take, what the next step is in your life, get in touch with me for a personal reading. It's a really good time to get very clear answers. And even if you don't want to hear the answers, at least you got them, and then you can do something about it rather than being in the dark about them. I would much rather know the bad news and resolve it than just have it hanging over me and not being aware of it at all. Wednesday the 8th of January, Mercury in Capricorn, so the communication planet is totally focused on work. It forms a harmonious sextile with Neptune and Pisces, the dream planet. So dreams are coming out as practical things, words, books, paintings, ideas, new formulas, scientific discoveries. The Gemini moon squares Neptune and Pisces. So Mercury in Capricorn is friends with Neptune and says, give me your dreams. And the moon, which says, I want to explore and find out, says, no, I don't want your dreams, Neptune. I'm trining Venus in Aquarius. I want lovely, harmonious, wonderful energy from other people. So on Wednesday the 8th of January, instead of longing and dreaming about getting love for other people and being in that situation of, I'm waiting for something wonderful to happen, you get fed up with that today and you take action yourself. So instead of pining for someone and looking out the window and saying, oh, when is she going to be back from her trip to Norway? I'm just watching the streets, and every day I watch for the black car coming down the drive and parking, so she's back and I'm happy again. Call the cruise line and see where they are. It's a really kind of grounded, no-nonsense week. There's no tolerance for la-di-da. It's like, let's get things moving, okay? It's busy. So Wednesday is a great time to just say, okay, enough. I'm not waiting, I am doing. So if you have something that you can action on Wednesday the 8th, please do. Otherwise you'll be frustrated and possibly even bored. Today, you put your desires into action, and like yesterday, choose the path of least resistance to reduce conflict, okay? With the eclipse approaching, the ego and all of this masculine energy, or stereotypically masculine energy as it is in the tarot and astrology, which is seen to construct and build and fight. That masculine energy and the ego are kind of in their death throes because of this eclipse happening the next day, which is a complete victory of the feminine over the masculine. So the masculine is fire, conflict, thoughts, communication, travel, change. On Wednesday, do choose the way of least resistance, because on Wednesday the 8th, it's really likely that if you try and do something like apply for some sort of form, or you have to fill out a form to apply for some sort of a venue where you can put on a music event or something, or if you go to the Norwegian cruise line and say, actually, where's the ship now, because I'm sick of waiting, I want to find out where they are, it's likely that either the person on the phone will say, I don't know, or that you'll have to do it yourself in a way, that you either Google it or look it up online. The whole day is about trying to minimize conflict with other people and being as productive within yourself as you possibly can be. On Thursday, the 9th of January, the moon moves into Cancer at 8:44 in the morning. Now, the moon rules Cancer, and when it's in Cancer, it is as happy as it can possibly be. It represents the mother. Anything that has to do with nurturing other people, being caring, giving, selfless, giving birth to children and new ideas and joy and bringing love into the world. It's about being creative and caring. It's also about taking care of yourself and being accepting and tolerant and nurturing and empathetic towards other people's pain. Everything that you would associate with the ideal mother archetype is what the moon in Cancer is, and it starts from 8:44 in the morning. The moon then opposes Jupiter in Capricorn, so the lucky planet is on the other side of the chart, and the moon says, you know what, I don't want to work to get good luck today, I just want to feel my feelings, thank you very much. It squares Chiron in Aries, so it says, I don't want to be hurt by other people's opinions, please. I'm looking within today. It also sextiles Uranus and Taurus, so it's thinking about practical ways for you to make your life better, and it quincunxes Mars and Sagittarius, so that inner desire and drive, the masculine, now really being under pressure, says, if you take this idea and go for it, you will be able to progress. So on Thursday the 9th, trying to get a raise or a promotion is not ideal on this day. Taking action on your own will feel like you're lacking in support and you're doing things by yourself, and you've kind of painted yourself in a corner. So today is a day to reflect on your options, to consider the huge life changes, but not making them today. Because the ego, Mars and Sagittarius, is really going to be overcome the next day. It's pushing for you to now take some sort of action which is going to move you forward. But unfortunately, it would move you forward in the wrong direction. So there's no point of struggling to get into something on Thursday when it's not even right for you, if you see what I mean. So don't let yourself be pressured into it. You know, soldiers, when the war's over, always the answer always is, I was following orders, or policemen or whatever. And that, I'm not saying that is an easy thing to say. Do you know what, I'm not going to follow these orders because you'll get shot. So you do always have a choice, but sometimes it's, I'm not going to do what you want. I'm not going to follow orders, and you die for your beliefs. But other times you have a choice where the stakes are really not high. So if you are pressured into anything today, or if you're some sort of situation where there's pressure on you and you have to perform because it's your duty as the grandchild or whatever it may be, today you get to think for yourself and to put an end to negative patterns in your life and to manifest yourself as you truly are. So it's not about trying to ingratiate yourself with other people. None of this week is. It's about ingratiating yourself with you. As the week goes on and on and on, we're very grounded. Then we start to get thoughts and ideas coming in, and by Thursday we're really all about the thoughts, ideas, and we're looking inward rather than outward. And that culminates on Friday the 10th of January with the lunar eclipse in Cancer at 7:22 in the evening. I've made a separate video on this eclipse, but really the most important things to know is that because it's an eclipse, the effects are going to last for 6 months. It's the ultimate victory of the feminine energy over masculine energy. So those of us who run our lives because we feel something that we ought to do and then we do it, we're going to be in luck. The people who are alpha and who are totally focused on themselves and don't listen to their guidance and feelings, they just listen to the ego and they say this and this and this, you do this and work hard and bulldoze and I'm threatening you and I'm puffing myself up, you know, all the masculine conflict kind of things. Those are going to become much more difficult. Uranus also goes direct on this day. Uranus is the planet of chaos and eccentricity and the miraculous and unexpected. It's in Taurus, and the last time it was in Taurus was in the 1930s. And we had the Great Depression in America. We had the Nazis coming into power in Europe. So it's very unpredictable. Uranus and Taurus could be huge financial boons, or it could be this depression where the unexpected is that a currency overnight completely loses its value. So have a look at the video I've made on the eclipse. I go into more detail. I'll put a link to the video in this video. I think it's really important. But what I wanted to say in this video about Friday the 10th of January is that yes, you've got the eclipse and yes, it lasts for 6 months, but it benefits all of us who are sensitive, who enjoy the moon in Cancer. And those of us who can identify with the feminine, of being someone who cleans up other people's messes, or someone who feels all of their emotions and sees themselves for who they are and spends time doing that instead of, you know, being a politician and banging your big drum and saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. That's not the energy we're talking about. That would be like Mars in Leo, for instance. It's like, up on stage, look at me, boom, I'm the best. And that's not what this is about. So those of us who are able to look within, or willing to look within, which traditionally has been seen as a feminine practice unless you've been a monk and you've removed yourself from the world entirely. Do you see what I mean? In our society, in our world, passive men don't exist, or passive men are not supposed to exist. If they are contemplative and they want to find out about themselves, they have to remove themselves from the world entirely. You could argue the same thing for nuns. They remove themselves from the world entirely. But the energy of men and women is different. We all know that. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And this eclipse just allows all of us who think along feminine lines. I'm genderqueer apparently, so I think like more along the feminine lines. We're really going to benefit from this because we don't have to remove ourselves from the world. We see that there is a sense and point of going within and contemplating our existences, and that it's a sign of wisdom rather than weakness. On this video, we've got 80% women who watch these videos and 20% men who watch the videos. And I really believe that's because women are just more open to the possibilities of the unseen. And obviously I'm generalizing hugely, but as you can see in the numbers, the female energy is naturally more drawn to this kind of time, 6 months in 2020, and that's why you probably may have this sense of huge excitement and wow, this is going to be the best year ever. If you feel that, it's true, listen to it, because what you've done is you've tapped into this energy of the eclipse, which is going to launch all of us who are in touch with our own feelings so that we can mold and create our lives the way we want. So also, looking within needs to be done in a loving way. You're not there to criticize yourself. And by looking within, you're able to decide what direction you're going to go in 2020, what you can manifest in the first 6 months easily, and it's victory of the inner versus the outer, the feminine versus the masculine. This is why 2020 offers such a great opportunity for feminine energy to be used to resolve issues in the world. If we're looking at mundane astrology and how this is going to affect the world, then yeah, the guys who are these alpha, you know, people like Lance Armstrong, ugh, those people you would never ever want anything to do with. Or I would never want anything to do with someone like that who bullies and peer pressures and thinks he's the king. You know, all of these arrogant, megalomaniac, narcissistic, blah, blah, blah. All those types of people are going to really struggle because there's no reason for them to behave the way they do other than their faulty beliefs. And because they can't look at their own thinking and feelings, the energy isn't going to be conducive to them feeling good. You've got to be in touch with your feelings, or at least be willing to work with them so that you can do something about it. If you shut them down completely, they will catch up with you and deal with you later on. So that's good news for us watching this channel, because the women watching this channel and the men watching this channel, we're all in touch with this feminine, wonderful energy which says, we don't have to be perfect, and there's no shame in it, and we can look within, and at least we think about why we're here on planet Earth. At least we try and make the best of life, and we're actually the ones who are incredibly valuable because we contemplate and then we take action. We don't just sit around, but we take informed action, and we listen to our feelings and our higher selves, and that's why we manifest beautiful things in the world rather than another nuclear power plant or another coal burning pollutant. Do you see what I mean? We're not here to destroy, we're here to heal and nurture, and that's what the feminine is all about. So I really hope you do have that sense of excitement. Look at the video for the eclipse. On Saturday the 11th of January, the moon goes into Leo at 12:17 in the afternoon. So this is now, I'm on stage, look at me, tra-la-la. The Leo moon trines Chiron in Aries and Mars in Sagittarius. So if you go with this sense of, okay, I need to be up on stage and run around and have everyone listen to my ideas, you're really likely to get hurt. The moon quincunxes Jupiter in Capricorn and squares Uranus in Taurus. So this one's difficult to predict. The one thing you should not do, what's interesting is that the big theme of this week and the things that you're going to have to choose from all week is fight, flight, or freeze. And on Saturday you have the sense of, I want to fight. The moon quincunx to Jupiter, the lucky planet, and the square, friction with Uranus, the unpredictable, you could put yourself out there and fight today, and you are really likely to have a negative experience, I would say. You have the choice of staying put and working with what you've got to improve some aspects of your life that are already there, versus running off, having fun, picking something that takes you away from all of your life problems and that gives you a sense of freedom, No. If you run away from responsibility on Saturday the 11th, those feelings, those responsibilities, those thoughts, they could become problematic for you, and you have to address them. And if you've had something that you haven't been able to resolve, and you just haven't had the presence of mind to get it done, Saturday the 11th is wonderful to get it done. So think of the energy on Saturday as an angry little Rumpelstiltskin stomping around and throwing a temper tantrum. And instead of letting this little Rumpelstiltskin run out into the world and cause mayhem, you're going to say, okay, Rumpel, you sit down and you give me all this fiery energy, and I'm going to put it into improving my relationships with my mother-in-law. It's always a mother-in-law, poor thing. I'm going to use your angry energy to fill out these forms that I despise. I will use this energy to clean the house that I've been putting off for months. So the best way is not to fight, but to invite the energy in and to stay put. So to freeze, I suppose, definitely don't run away, and you're not freezing and you're not fighting, you're just using fiery energy and channeling it in a productive, positive way. Awesome. On Sunday, the 12th of January, I'm so happy we're in 2020. 2019 really wasn't a bad year. It was a good year. I learned so much in 2019. I really changed so much. I feel like I've grown up. I feel like I'm a man for the first time in my life, because I know my story. I've accepted it finally, and it's like, it's such a relief. Wow. So this 2020, I really feel is like a platform for all of us where we can leap into some new wonderful experience. I mean, just in terms of, I said this in another video, but you know, just in terms of calling it the 10s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s in our culture, the last 20 years we haven't been able to call them anything. The noughties, the 10s, we haven't done all of that. They've seemed like limbo years. And now that we're back in the 20s, it's order. I'm a Virgo. It seems very organized to me. It seems very structured. I like it. So Mercury's in Capricorn on this day. Mercury's thinking about work and practical things. It conjuncts, so it's right on top of Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, both the planet of authority and transformation, sitting in the work sign of Capricorn. So it's all about work. Saturn in Capricorn conjuncts Pluto in Capricorn. Now, if you haven't watched the videos for each sign of the zodiac for 2020/2021, do so, because on the 21st of December 2020, I know that's still a year away, but something really significant happens, and the 2020 is a build-up to that significant event. It's called the Great Conjunction. It happens once every 20 years, and it challenges the structure of our humanity and our society. So 2001, we had 9/11. 1981, we had the birth of HIV/AIDS. 2021, we're going to have something that changes the culture completely. So 2020 is going to be the forming ground for that big change in 2021, or at the end of 2020 on the 21st of December. And I've thought about this a lot. I initially thought it was AI, then I thought it was the planet. But with this eclipse happening at the beginning of 2020, with the feminine energy, the matriarchs being the ones in power, it really seems positive, and the possibility of human beings waking up and becoming more enlightened and letting go of outdated, outmoded practices and thoughts that really just, it's hard enough being a human being on this planet. If you add Catholicism onto that, I mean, I don't understand how people make it. Like, life is hard enough, right? The weather sucks sometimes you're in pain. Imagine being a Catholic on top of that. Excuse all the Catholics watching, but for me that would really not work. That I would have to feel like okay, I'm in pain and everything's bad anyway. And now I've got this judgmental God up there saying, you have sinned, you need to go to confession, you should feel bad about yourself. I couldn't cope with that. So it's also a wonderful time to look at yourself and, you know, if you were brought up Catholic, for example, it could be Buddhist or Scientology or whatever it is. If you were brought up in something and you've never questioned it, but you feel like lately it's causing you harm in your life, this is the kind of time where you're able to think for yourself and understand what works for you and what doesn't work for other people, or what doesn't work for you. Catholicism works for millions of people across the world. It just doesn't work for me. And I know that because I've tried it. So this is a time to understand yourself before the big change that comes at the end of the year and in 2021. I'm sorry that I can't give you the exact specific of what is going to change, but we're starting to see things that show us how quickly life can change. For instance, I saw on the news this quick little clip saying a new missile has been invented. This missile is able to bypass every country's defense systems, because what they do is they send the missile up into outer space, out of the orbit, the Earth's atmosphere. It can then turn around and target its goal and bypass the defense systems of different countries. So that trident thing we've got in the UK apparently shielding us is nothing. So you can see with one idea or one invention, the whole world changes. I think the UK put billions into that defense thing, and that one invention has just mooted it. No longer useful. Sorry guys. Imagine that. Imagine if that was your life work and suddenly this thing came and it totally took it out of your hands and life as you know it is completely over forever. And that's why 2020 is so important, to know yourself and to be flexible, to go with what's coming in 2020, so that when it comes, you're not like, you know, the boss who's infallible, and suddenly all this stuff comes your way and it destroys you because you're not able to go with it or accept it, or you lose your job, or your worldview is condemned, or whatever it may be. It's really serious. The Leo moon also quincunxes these outer planets on this day, Pluto and Saturn. So on Sunday the 12th of January, I would recommend that you roll up your sleeves and you get busy doing what you've decided on doing. Today is a day where you can focus on one aspect of your life and really enjoy it and see how you can grow it. On Sunday, the 12th of January, you have the strength, power and confidence to make life-changing decisions that are going to improve your life moving forward. If this eclipse made you feel nothing, or it gave you absolutely no insight, then get in touch with me for a personal reading, please, because the guidance and the information is there. But sometimes we get ourselves into a state where we can't hear that. I was in that state years ago because I had a whole ideology of why God is terrible, and I was drinking and using practical physical things to change the way I felt, instead of connecting with the universe and trying to see what it had to say. You see, I was running on that I'm the boss, and that in the astrology and tarot is symbolized as masculine energy. And then I had to realize, ooh, there may be something that's not quite perfect. Like the alcoholism, for instance. And that just in itself humbles you, and it makes you say, okay, I'm willing to listen to what other people say. And that most people don't do that. Most people will not trust others enough to say, okay, I am humbling myself and you have the answers, I don't, and I'm going to try and listen and learn. That really doesn't happen very often. And because you have this power to see yourself, it just re-emphasizes my mantra, basically, which is that vulnerability is strength. Because when you know your own strengths and weaknesses and your power and your confidence, and you embrace all of it together, making you a whole person, then you can really live the kind of life that you want. Okay? And sometimes we're not in a state to get those messages because we've got other stuff going on, and that's where people like me come in. So if you would like to find out what your life purpose is, or what you're going to be good at work-wise, what your strengths and weaknesses are in life, what's kind of destined and written on your forehead, and what you can do about that destiny, or how you can work with it to make it work for you. Because I really feel that some of the things in life are destined and preordained for us. But then, on the other hand, we do manifest our lives the way we want. And astrology and tarot and all these divination systems and the collective unconscious and the intuitive, that sits in the middle, and it looks at, you know, what has been in your life. So the fact that you moved 80 times as a kid because you were an army brat, that's beyond your control, right? But what is in your control is how you're going to create your family and your future. And you can only do that by using this opportunity to look within and to say, ooh, okay, I don't like this way of living. Ouch, that hurts. So I'm going to have to actually accept that, sting, embrace it. Okay, we're cool with this now, and we're going to follow it through. And that's what feminine energy is about. It's strength from within, not puffing yourself up and achieving something in a court of law. It's spiritual strength, not fleshy strength. That's why I never got going to the gym. I just didn't understand it. I was just like, why would I go to the gym to beef myself up when I'm never going to maintain it? Because I don't want to just do this all day long. And secondly, once I've buffed myself up and then I stop, it just turns to fat, right? Because I'm not going to maintain that, please. I'd get so bored. And I just thought, well, I just won't bother to build myself up and then get fat because I know I'm not going to be consistent. So I just stayed skinny. And that has had an impact on my life. So we make these choices and they have a real consequence. Life has consequences. I mean, when I was a teacher, there was this one girl who was unbelievable. In front of she was really acting up, and in front of another teacher, she said about me standing there, that guy's an idiot, he doesn't know anything. Ooh, and I was just like, I kind of went purple with rage. I was just like, wow, that hit me. But what I realized, what I thought at that moment, I was just like, do you know what? Just take a breath, because life is gonna take care of her anyway. And that made me realize that I don't really have a very good opinion, or I have a very clear vision of life. That if you put out negative things like that girl did to me, she's gonna reap the rewards of that negativity. She's gonna meet someone along the way who isn't gonna like comments like that, and she's gonna have a conflict. And it also made me realize that yes, the person you are and the person you want to become, we're striving to do these things so that we have a vibration which alters our life so that it works in every area. Money, personal relationships and development, health, travel, fulfillment. That's the point of all of this, to live a happy life. And I would really encourage you to watch that eclipse video, because it's one of the most amazing eclipses that we have, and that we can really learn a lot about ourselves and move into 2020 confidently and saying, I have a plan for this decade. I'm not just going to go into it seeing what happens, la-di-da. I've got a plan. I am in touch with the powers that be. The council of goodness is on my side, and they have told me I'm to do steps 1, 2, and 3. And you do that. So have a wonderful day. If you'd like to get in touch with me for a personal reading, then go to gregoryscott.com. Order your reading with me on the website. To draw up your birth chart, I use your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then please order a chart rectification on the website. That's a process where I work out your time of birth. Once I have that, I use the chart, the natal chart, the progress chart, the transits, the astrocartography, the tarot, the numerology, and my intuition. And I use all of those things to answer your questions and to see how you can maximize your potential and minimize the things that trouble you. If you have any questions, then please do get in touch. It would be a pleasure speaking to you. Thanks for watching this video all the way to the end and making it this far. Thank you. You're one of the lovely people who I adore, who actually watch all of my videos to the end. Have a wonderful day. If you like this video, then please hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, and share it online. That would be awesome. That's how the channel grows. I hope you have a great week ahead. I'll put the link for the eclipse in the description, and I'll speak to you next week.